God's promises are not like our promises. We promise things to each other all the time. I don't know how many times I've promised to myself that I'm going to not eat those chips in the cupboard. I don't know how many times I've promised to myself that I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. so I can be at jiu-jitsu at 6 a.m. I don't know how many times I've promised to myself. There's you and me both. You've promised things to you, you've promised things to others, and those promises have been broken, and often we don't carry a lot of guilt or shame around them. Some we really do, but some we don't. But a promise that God makes is different than a promise that we make in the way that God keeps his promises always and forever. Amen? God's promises are faithful. They are promises that you can trust and be sure of. God's promises are more covenantal than ours. So when Abraham joins this covenant with God, this promise is a greater thing. It's not like a promise like us. It's not a contract that could be negotiated or broken or changed later. It is binding and forever. That's what a covenant is. So when you hear that language, or you think of God's promises, the ones he made to Abraham that are playing out through the pages of Exodus in Moses' life and generations to pass, we need to understand it in light of God's perfect promises that will never be failed. He will never turn his back on them. He will never change his mind on them. He will never pull them. These are God's promises for his people.